I got some info, guys. I got the goods. I got the news. I got the scoop. I got the tea. I got all you want and more for free. I've got some information that's gonna rock your socks off. We've just gotten confirmation. This is real. That Nintendo is re-releasing the Nintendo Switch. I'm the dude who made it up, and even I can't believe it. So there's an announcement made by Doug Bowser, the CEO of Nintendo, which, let's discuss that first of all. His name is Doug Bowser, and he's the CEO of Nintendo. Not a good plan. That's probably why Nintendo is in the situation that they're in. Because the dude who's running Nintendo is the #1 antagonist in Nintendo. It'd be like if you had a guy named like Greg Sidious running Lucasfilms. So Doug Bowser, who's running Nintendo, recently made a statement. I don't have it written down word for word, but it was something like, I'm a whiny little baby. I'm so sorry I overcharged for the Switch 2. We're bringing back the Wii because nobody bought the Switch 2. The Switch 2's sales have plummeted. They're completely gone. Nobody bought this thing. On the day one, people were lining up around the block like they wanted it, but even scalpers were completely rejecting the Switch 2 because nobody bought it. It has the worst sales. It's like the second worst sales of any game in history, of any console in history. There's like some Sega console that I've never heard of that apparently had worse sales back in like 1901 or something. But nowadays, in recent memory, the Switch 2 is tanking. Nobody wants it. So to save face, Nintendo announced they're bringing back the Nintendo Wii. I'm not even joking. So it's not the exact same thing as the Nintendo Wii. It's a fake kind of knockoff Wii. It's almost like the Wii U, but it's probably even worse, which is saying something. And basically the way it works is any old Wii games are going to be playable on this Wii, and they're planning on bringing a bunch of Switch 2 games to this, which is wild. The fact that they turned around and threw this together, and if you look at the images, it really does look like they threw this thing together. They had one intern pull an all-nighter to slap up like mock-ups of what a new Nintendo Wii would look like. Absolutely terrible. They tried to make the Wii, but keep the like design of the Switch 2, so it still has like the red and blue on either side, and it just looks like a child's drawing. It's not good. And this is a wild move. I wasn't expecting this at all. Completely out of left wing. I made the whole thing up myself, but it's completely crazy that they even had this idea and executed this thing. And that multiple people signed off on this. That's what's wild, because all it needs is one person to be like, guys, lower the price for the Switch 2, and this won't happen. You won't have to re-release the Wii, a console that is considered retro because it came out in 2005. But no one was there to help them. When Nintendo needed them most, all of their allies vanished, and now they have to pull this nonsense. And what's crazy is the Switch 2 is still up, and it's still full price. They didn't lower the price of the Switch 2. They just created a brand new console, or not a brand new console. They just re-released an old console. I don't know if it's going to have the same properties as the Switch 2. I don't know if it's going to have the same graphics. This thing truly does look like the Soulja console from Soulja Boy. I'm going to be really surprised if this can run Mario for the NES. It looks really, really bad. They did this whole stupid, like, release thing, and they put the release date as, like, August 12, I think. I gotta go back and look at it. But they're pushing this thing right out the door. It's releasing August 12th in Japan, and then not too long after that, it's going to North America. But you could just tell Nintendo got trashed with this. They're not the only game console to have problems lately. Xbox has been talking about going software only because their Xbox is bad. It's just overall a giant, expensive, heavy object that doesn't do what it should. But this is a giant low for Nintendo. This is like the new Coke of Nintendo. Remember New Coke? Basically in the early 2000s, maybe the 90s, I don't remember when. Coca-Cola announced they're doing a new Coke, and everyone hated it. I don't even know what the difference was, but everyone just trashed that so bad. This is what that is. It's the biggest controversy probably in all of Nintendo's history. I'm not even kidding you if I say, I'm not exaggerating when I say if Doug Bowser and Shigeru Miyamoto had tried to like plant a pipe bomb on the president's limousine, that would not be nearly as astonishing as this. And they folded so quickly. What the Switch 2 released what, like mid-June? And they're already backpedaling and going, not even just going back to the Switch, going back to the Nintendo Wii. Because that was really the last time they had like a big, heavy-hitting console. The Switch didn't get the recognition I think it deserved. It was really well respected, and I think everyone kind of likes it. It's Nintendo's best console. I'm a sucker for the Game Boy, but objectively the Switch is the best console if we're talking about like specs and abilities. But the Wii was the thing that really kind of blew Nintendo up and obviously it's not what blew them up in the first place, but it was a giant, giant leap forward in technology. And that's really what, that's kind of what they're just going back to. They're just being like, remember us? We're the guys who made the Nintendo Wii, not the Nintendo Switch 2. Some complete atrocity. And I don't even know what to say. I can't believe they did that. They didn't. I made it up. But I still can't believe that this is happening. That the Nintendo just went this low and created this. What I would have done is like announce that we're releasing a new Super Mario. Or like maybe that all of our old Mario games are also coming to the Switch. Try and get some hype for Nintendo as a company. Right now, their reputation is gone. It is completely vanished. Because of everything Nintendo's done. Everyone's mad at them. But they could have tried to like get that sort of rep back. You know, if they just did a little bit more than announcing this frankly pathetic move of trying to bring back the Wii, but not the Wii. It's like a new thing. The controller for this thing looks, I mean, you can barely see it in the picture because it's cropped horribly, but the controller looks really, really not at all like the controller for a Wii should look like. It's like they just grabbed a PNG of a Switch controller and just threw that on there. Holy moly. This is gonna bomb. Come on, man. You guys made Mario Galaxy. You guys made Breath of the Wild. The first Mario. You ever play that? I've played it. Don't tell Shigeru, but I've been illegally emulating it and playing it for the past several days, and it's so good. Even if it's hard, it's still such a fun game. But Nintendo just tanked all of that. They have basically detonated their entire reputation with this horrible idea for a Switch 2. That's a boring name for a console, also. I want to point that out. They shouldn't have called it the Switch 2. They should have called it the Super Nintendo Switch, because that's a way better name, and they wouldn't be in this horrible, horrible pit of fire and lava and spikes that they've locked themselves into now, where they have to bring back older consoles and just fake older consoles for it's completely absurd. Like this, man. I wonder what's next. I can't wait for like PlayStation 5 Pro to announce they're re-releasing the PlayStation 1 with the hardware from like a calculator, like a graphics calculator. Listen, I don't know the hardware on this new Wii that they're releasing. I don't know what it's like, but it looks really bad. Like they showed the inside of the. I'm not acting like I know anything about controllers or anything about specs or computers. I'm no Jimmy Neutron. I'm no Albert Einstein. I'm no Steve Jobs. But I can see the picture they're showing. It looks really bad, and people on Twitter are obliterating Nintendo. People are comparing this to like the original GameCube. It is worse than the original GameCube. It really just looks so just garbage. Like they really just took garbage. It's like the thing, what do they say? Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. Shigeru Miyamoto made this in half an hour with a box of scraps that he just like found on the Nintendo floor. And he threw it together. This is like what would happen in any of those like cartoons where there's like a kid who's a genius. So he takes apart the toaster and makes like a science project and wins the science fair or whatever. But this is what would actually happen. You get a monster like this. It is a monstrous product. It is just not good, man. I'm not excited for the new Nintendo Wii. I'm gonna purchase it. They say that I don't know if they're lowering the price or potentially even raising it. You don't know with Nintendo. These guys will charge the most overpriced stuff for nothing. They'll sell like a hat with Pikachu ears on it for the cost of like your entire rent. And people will buy it. You know people are going to be buying this new Nintendo Wii. Again, they can't because I'm making it up. But there's no way people aren't going to buy this thing. These people I want to buy it out of curiosity, just sheer morbid curiosity, driving me to buy a product that doesn't exist because it seems like such a crazy thing for Nintendo to release. I want to see if it works even a little bit. If I can get it to run, I will be appalled. I will say I'm looking forward to the fact that if this is what Nintendo does, I don't know. If this is what Nintendo actually does, and the game actually does run Wii games, bringing back older consoles, here's the thing. If it actually does work and you can actually run Wii games on it, this is an incredible move. I'm thrilled about this because now we can actually start getting people. I can play so many of my old Wii games. My Wii, it still really works, but, it's kind of maybe on its last leg. I'm not sure. Sometimes it kind of glitches out. So being able to get a new one and be able to play my already existing Wii games sounds great, like for collectors and stuff. So, yeah, I'd say that the future of Nintendo was looking grim, but for the rest of us, it's looking pretty bright. It's looking pretty bright.